Hi, everybody. So I've got Z and Abby with me today, and we're going to talk about the energies and some other things. We just kind of want to go with the flow. We're obviously working together a lot right now, and we're planning some fun stuff and even a trip. So anyway, I'm hoping Z can tell us a little bit about the energies, and then Abby can tell us how she's been feeling with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, heading into this year, at the end of January, we have a really big gate coming up this Saturday, and it's really pushing us to surrender and to trust that the energies coming in are going to take us into take us up into frequency that we want. And by doing this right now, the energy that's coming through is really the child energy, and I really want to make it apparent and clear that source and universal energy is child energy. That's exactly what it is. It's the purest essence of us. It's creation energy, it's imagination, it's play, it's joy, it's excitement. And that's what's really pushing us into this year. And and I'm getting a lot of energy in from Mother Earth too, Gaia, who is shifting her codes and with the animals and the plants to shift this into going back into curiosity and child's play. As if we can do that and get out of the seriousness of how intense the energies are, because they are really intense right now. Just get real. They've been really intense. Then we have the ability to kind of come back into our purity and our self-expression and our uniqueness. And the more that we're in that childlike frequency, the more that we are in our ascension process, the more that we're in ourselves, because that frequency allows us to shift in the direction where we want to go. Because it's innocent, it has no worries, there's no fears there. It basically just is, and it's beautiful. So that's where I'd say watch the energies and frequencies, and if it gets too intense, get out of the seriousness of it and go back into your childlike self.
Mm, love
Mm.
that. So how you been doing with all this stuff, Abby?
Well, it's been feeling like a real upgrade time. But when Z's talking there about the childlike and the innocence of it all, what came up for me was how children just say no without thinking about what the other person says or thinks. So it's like, no, this isn't for me. No, I don't want this. That's not mine. And what I'm noticing is that like I'm not going to read this book. I'm not interested in watching that. I don't want to listen to this. My no is getting better.
Mhm.
And that's really good because it's steering me more into the things that light me up and make me happy. And I've had a few days where I've had an inflammation day, let's say, and I've been in chronic pain. And I'm dragging my sorry self around the house, but I'm still singing a song at the same time, or in a good mood, even though I'm in pain. I have this, I have that, I have the other. And it's like, I don't think I've been able to do that before to this extent. And my husband looking at me and it's like, but you're in a good mood when you're still making a hot water bottle for yourself. And I'm going, yeah, but I have a choice here.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. And what I'm also noticing is choices, my appreciation of the level of the choices that other people are making has increased. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We actually recorded a video together, and I was just so frustrated with people who didn't do their research, who just went along with the crowd. And then I realized, but that's a choice. That actually is a choice. And I'm thinking it's laziness. The poor people, they need to be helped. And I said, no, they don't. They're choosing that. So by being in that childlike, playful way, you could say, okay, well, maybe next time when they come back in the next incarnation, they'll be more aware of what they're doing. But if you just follow the leader down a cliff face and jump off, then that's what your mama used to say. If all your friends jumped off a cliff, would you jump off too? And some of them would. And some of them
Mhm.
did, and that's actually a choice. So it frees me up then to be happier with that once because I think I've just done all the grieving now. There's more, there's always more, but I'm able to make space for that better. So I think that's part of what we're going through now. It's like, so it's more level playing field. So when this new energy is coming in, we're meeting it where we are, and that's kind of exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like we're getting used to the purge and we're okay with it.
Mhm.
So as our body, I see it as the body is purging out the programming.
Mhm.
And that's why it's like yucky and sticky and not very fun. But even while we're purging, we can still be in a good mood because we know that we're going to feel better after.
Mhm.
And the emotional stuff that's really important to us, I notice things that you may have suppressed, they'll come up to the surface. Like I had one of those this last weekend, and we live in a very small house so that we
Mhm.
could go off grid and, do this kind of stuff, which was a big commitment. And I'm like, it's too small for me to work in and live in at the same time. So we're going to get a little office space for me. And I feel like, just saying I need this is
Mhm.
really important. And this can be used for something else later. But it was like an hour-long discussion of what do we do? Because I'm not going to do this anymore.
Mhm.
So there was no like pushback or blame or anything going on. It was like, let's think about it because I can feel I'm dissatisfied. So what do we do about it? You know,
That's
and
interesting.
it
That's
was really
like the
good.
childlike aspect of you coming through the adult aspect with the language and the understanding of what the frustration actually is, whereas a child wouldn't have that. So that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
It took
I
me
think
a
it's really,
while
yeah.
Yeah,
to
because
get to it.
you have to sit with the aspect of you that's frustrated and doesn't have the
Yeah.
language, and then put the language on that, and then articulate your needs to somebody.
Mhm.
So this is perfectly beautiful example of what Z is saying and how we merge ourselves into our natural way of being, which is having, allowing the childlike emotional to not dictate how we act in the world, but to be a driving force instead of being shut down.
Absolutely, absolutely. The
Exactly.
needs have really been on the plate the last little while, being able to express your needs. And we think as a spiritual aspect, as those of us who are ascending, like that we don't have needs, and that's really not how the universe works. Our needs are given to us for our highest excitement and purpose here. They just come, and it is by expressing, "Hey, I need this in order to get to my next step." It's not wrong. It's an aspect that does need to be expressed. And it goes along with our nose, it goes along with our discernment and our ability to understand that, like, hey, if I'm feeling boredom or distracted or suppressed in any given way, that might be because there is a need that I have that I haven't expressed. There is something that is stagnant that I just need to take a look at, even if I make a slight shift. So right now, where we're at in our evolutionary process, it's really looking at each of those things and every single aspect of yourself that you have multidimensionally, to have an understanding of, like, oh, this is what I need, oh, this is where this is. It's talking to all of those aspects of yourself and expressing them completely. Even if that's super angry, that is going to get you into the next step in higher frequency.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are used to the pattern of not sitting with themselves and listening
Mhm.
to the aspects of themselves to understand what's actually going on with themselves. And so, how can you be in any relationship if you're pushing pieces of yourself outside or into the basement or upstairs into the wardrobe, and you're only working on a lesser version of who you are in your wholeness? So, to not be afraid anymore, to allow all of the parts of you into the room, all of the parts of you to join in the conversation. And it's probably important to realize that if they haven't joined the conversation with you, then you need to have that conversation with all of those parts of yourself and make the time to do that. And I think that could explain why there's been a lot of overwhelm for people, because it's like, oh yeah, all the parts of you rushing in at the same time, and you're trying to have a conversation with someone else, or you're seeing something else in there and it just doesn't make sense and it's just too much. It's stop, I can do this. But it's about taking that breath and realizing, you know, I was just reading a piece about Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, and he talks about tension within the self, and how the self can hold two contrasting opposite ideas as both of them legitimate ideas, and that the tension within comes from the balance of holding them. And I was there, okay, show me an example of that. And examples are coming up for me, which is really interesting to explore. But that's what we do. I can't have that, but I want to have that. And it's getting to the center of it and listening to all the aspects of you and reaching compromise with yourself. And I think it's a very mature way to be. So if it's coming up for us, it's coming up for the collective. It's rippling outwards, which is just beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And knowing that you have the ability to hold both of those. I hate this, but I love this. Okay. Well, those are two different aspects, but they both want to be seen and heard. And you do have the capability to hold all of that, which means you have the capability of holding your multidimensionality in all of your aspects and all of your times and spaces and parallels. It's just understanding that they need to be heard. So if you're out there, you're in relationship with others, or you're in a group with others, and someone is like perturbing you, or you feel like you just don't want to have a conversation, that's a piece of yourself that's, I don't know where it's locked up. I mean, it could be in the deepest aspect of the basement. That's like, hey, yo, I really want to have a chat with you. So any of that that's coming up, take a look at it. Really talk to those pieces of yourself, and take time for yourself to slow down. Sit with yourself for a second. See what's on the table for you to have a chat.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And with me, it all came from my inner child. Like, I have stuff that I use to create with. So you really want to nourish your inner child right now. And I have stuff that I want to use, and it's in boxes all over the place. So some of it's upstairs in a box, some of it's out in a storage container in a box, and some of it's in the house in a box. So it just like came to a head of, I don't want my stuff in boxes anymore. I want it all together so I can play with it, so I can make things. And I think, just kind of realizing what is the root issue going on with you, taking the time to dig into it, because that was the root issue for me, is I want a place to create, and I want it to be big enough to have all my stuff like available instead of stuck away and I have to go find it. Because you don't want to go searching for everything, then you don't want to create by the time you're done finding it.
So
So,
here's a tip for someone who's watching this who might not know what the issue is, because it could be that an aspect of you that's in your subconscious knows what it is and you don't actually know, but you're feeling the tension in your body, you're feeling a stuckness. I get a lot of people telling me that they're feeling stuck, that they want to be in momentum. And it's not about moving forward all the time. It's not about clearing feelings. It's about being with them. So firstly, allow yourself to be with the discomfort of feeling whatever it is and not understanding or not having the words, not knowing what it is. And then just come into alignment with wanting to know. And that can be really hard, because it's like looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing, is your hair okay to go out, or looking at yourself in the mirror and looking into your own eyes and saying, I see myself and I appreciate who I am. That's a different way of looking. It's like a glance or an actual appreciation of looking. So you look at yourself, you have to meet yourself where you are and say, okay, there's something going on here. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm inviting the aspects of myself and my higher self and the angels, if you want to call in your angelic help, to come and support me as we work through this together. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen. Just come and show me, and let's work this through. And then let it go and go and do something else. And then bam, it'll come in, or you'll dream about it, or you'll watch something on TV that'll stimulate you, or even just do a stream of consciousness writing, and it will come through in the writing, because it's in there somewhere. You're just not right in the front of your mind. So
yeah. And be really willing to just say out loud, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm frustrated and I need to figure out what it is. And I don't want to take any of that energy out on the people around me. So that was my focus, is to figure out what it was, to say that I was frustrated, and to also dig into it so I could figure out what the root was. Because I feel like that's really important to be sovereign within yourself and just saying, listen, I'm really irritated right now, but I know I'll figure out why, but please don't be offended by how I'm huffing around the house, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because we can then set off a chain reaction, which is what I think what humanity has been doing for a long time. So anyway.
No, there's a game in Ireland. I don't know if you ever play that in America. It's usually with little kids and they all sit in a circle and it usually happens at birthday parties and it's called Pass the Parcel. Have you ever played this? So somebody's wrapped a very big present, a parcel, and all the kids are sitting down, they're very excited, and then they turn on the music and you pass the parcel to the next person, who passes it to the next person, who passes it to the next person, and they keep passing it around until they stop the music. Whoever has the parcel in their hand takes off a layer of wrapping paper. And whoever, and then the music starts and they pass the parcel again and they pass it around the group until the music stops and then they take off another layer of wrapping paper. And the excitement starts to build, obviously, with the kids as you get down to the lower layers because you're thinking you're near the present, you're near the present. And then whoever has it when the music stops and they open, they get the present, they get to keep the present. But for me, passing the parcel is like, I don't want this emotion, you have it. Somebody has to take off that layer. Somebody has to do it. And I think that humanity, collective consciousness with relationships have been passing the parcel of their emotional crap to everybody around the room and they don't want to take it. So this sovereignty is you saying, okay, that's my parcel and you don't have to deal with it and I'm going to take it back. Because what happens in the room at the end of this game is the room is filled with these layers of wrapping paper and someone has to clean it up. So
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
great analogy.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah.
I just practice that with all of my like kid pieces and parts and be like, let's wrap it and see what layer comes off.
Yeah.
With myself.
Well, having had 4 children, I've done quite a few birthday parties. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
yeah.
think the little kid stuff is so prevalent right now. And just letting your little child be free, but also, steering so it's like not totally insane as it comes out. Because some of our inner children have been suppressed for so long, they just want to like fly, you know. And I don't blame them, but you also don't want to go 100 miles an hour down the highway.
No, it's about being the adult with that energy. It's like, well, what does this look like if we've had generations of people being suppressed and suddenly they're free and able to do what they want? It's going to be bumpy, sure, in the beginning. So, you keep your parcel and you clean up your own layers. and
Yeah.
don't be afraid of it because what's in there at the end is a gift. It is a gift and it's hard work and it looks, you don't know what to expect, and you can make things up in your head. That's another thing I'm noticing is particularly with my family is the thought process running on the old paradigms, the old patterns, and making things worse by thinking that they're going to be worse, like working yourself up into anxiety when you don't need to. So a sense of trust comes in as you reach the higher frequencies where you can just go, okay, here we go, another process. Let's
Yeah.
sit back and just watch what's going on and be the observer of yourself as well.
And being in flow and trusting and all those things are starting to really culminate for people. And also following the signs that are being given to you for your next step instead of trying to push things to happen, because you actually just wear yourself out. So when your next step is shown to you, just, say, oh, okay, I'll do that and do it and then wait for the next thing. You don't have to use so much energy to get where you want to go. We really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like me now. I've started doing tarot cards in my Telegram channel. I never would have thought that that's something that I would have done. But I've been using tarot since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I was suddenly, oh, it might be fun to do this. And no, I really want to do this. And so I did it. And everyone in the channel is like, I love this. I love this. They want more. I want more. So I started, my gosh, I have so many tarot packs. So I'm not sticking with the same pack, different packs. And I'm explaining the background of the pack. And I tell stories about the cards. And I'm beginning to really understand the depth of the meaning behind it. And what's really interesting with the tarot is the energies of the packs are different now.
Yeah.
And the ones that match the energies that we're in are different now. And I go, wow, it's like we have to relearn the tarot. And I'm looking up the old traditional meaning of the card. I go, but I got a totally different meaning off because I'm connecting into the energy of now. And I'm really enjoying it. And it is playful and it's childlike for me. And they love it. The people on my channel love it. So unexpected turns and twists and just go with them. That's childlike playing with cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're giving them a
That's
little picture,
mm-hmm.
which
Yeah, well, I give them the three
totally relates
cards
to
and then
that.
they have to guess, they have to choose a card from the three face down. And then
Oh,
the next post will be this is the pack and the pack, so they can see the branding on the pack and everything. And then I say the reveals in the comments. So if someone comes along later, the next post isn't the cards face up, so that they have a chance to play as well.
that's
And
good.
people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then what's happening I've been doing it for about 2 weeks now, different packs, but the same card has been coming up. And so
Mhm.
I'm saying in the comments, who's been getting this card more than once? Maybe you're not finished with this energy yet. And they're beginning to talk, and it's really being used as a healing tool, which for me, I never really understood how that could work as healing, but it really is very healing. And they're going, oh, okay, I still need some to do some more on this. So these tools are here for us, it's really kind of cool.
It is. It's like physical telepathy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's a good time. Yeah, I just got
Yeah.
back to
It's
this
just
too, which was
It's
interesting. This
bizarre, when I get a new pack of tarot in my house and I do the spread there, and then I come into the office and I choose one that's an old one that I've had for years and it's the same bloody card.
Mhm.
It really shows you that everything's connected. We're all working together, and the power of our energy is
Oh, yeah.
immense. So that's teaching the people in the channel as well, you know.
They're creating it. I
I
Yeah.
know.
love that so much,
I
Abby.
ordered some. Go ahead, Z. Go ahead.
I was just say I love that so much. The card aspect and getting back into the play. I did that this last week with a couple of good friends of mine who just decided to buy cards and they hadn't been in them for a while either. And we just created an entire story out of it. We all just drew a bunch and then we put them together and it was just incredible. So it's beautiful what's surfacing right now as far as that frequency because it is coming in. I can see it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful tool. I'll pull out oracle cards or, other things just when I'm feeling kind of playful. That's when I pull them out. I actually got some in the mail probably a month ago and I didn't want to keep them. So
Okay.
they were interesting, so they had to go. But in general, like I have several sets, different colors, and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, oh, what do I want to look at today? And then I also have some crystal cards, which are fun too. And they tell you about the crystal.
I think when you approach it with play energy and not serious, it can
Mhm.
be wonderful. And because I think people have this concept about the ascension, that we won't be using these tools. We won't need pendulums. We won't need crystals. We won't need tarot cards. And I disagree. I think the need is gone. The desperation and the wanting and the needing. Because for me, doing tarot when I was 18, I'm not even going to think of how many years ago that was. There was a whole thing where people were desperate and needy and having to depend on their psychic, and they're not going to make any decision until they consult the psychic. And then there's these psychic telephone lines in the UK, and people were spending, I'm sure it's the same in the States,
We had those.
200, 300, $400 on psychics. And I can't decide, should I go out with this person or not? And it's totally giving your power away to everything. But when you're sovereign and your power is here, and you're like, okay, I don't need to play these cards. I don't need to look at the cards, but it'd be nice to, check the psychic weather. That's kind of how I see it. It's like the weather forecast, the psychic weather forecast. Do I need to wear my coat today? Especially if you're going traveling or something, it's going to be difficult, but you'll get there. Great, I'll get there. So you kind of have an expectation to just be more at peace. I think it just reminds you of these things. And I think crystals are great to remind you of your intention. We were showing each other our crystals before we started recording, which I'm wearing this for this and this for this. And it's for me, it's for the power of my mind to get me in alignment with what I want. And to be open if it's not what I want, to be able to be with what shows up, because sometimes the things that show up are the things that are in the way of what you want, and you have to deal with those. So doing it in a playful way. So yeah, I mean, get the rune stones out, and I'm seeing runes more actually in the media and the mainstream, which is really interesting. Did you guys see the piece about the Irish Eurovision song, the song for Ireland? You don't even know what the Eurovision is. I'm just wondering before I talk
No.
Neither.
Eurovision Song Contest is where ABBA became famous. So every year there's a European Song Contest where all of the countries elect a band to play their song to represent their country. And then the song goes to the winning country from last year. There's a big competition, and then everybody votes for the song they like the best, except they never do. They vote for the country they like the best. So it's always political in some way, shape, or form. And we had our Song for Ireland contest last weekend, which is all of, we want to represent Ireland in the next Eurovision. And the woman that won is causing a huge stir. And everybody's pointing at her and going, she's satanic. We don't want this to represent Ireland. And I'm going, wow, it's like the puppet show. It's like the movie. It's like they made her over the top ridiculous so that people have a choice.
Yeah.
There's a video that she made, a music video from last year, where she covers herself in menstrual blood and climbs inside a television set and sings songs to worship the devil. And it's like, can't get more obvious than this, guys. But people are sharing her everywhere. And I'm saying, don't share her to get angry at her. Don't share her for any reason if you don't believe what she's doing, because they want your energy. So they want your angry energy. They want you to share her and be angry. They want you to share her and love her. Don't even share if you just walk away from it.
Yeah.
That's the choices that we're coming up against now. So that's again with the energy reading, to see the Irish public are, either really happy or not happy. And there's few, people starting to say, well, do you know what? Fact this, I'm going to go and make better quality music over here. That's what they're doing. And if you like the good music here, well, then come and join us over here. And that's what they're actually doing. And it's brilliant. Really good.
Yeah. And it's part of the over the top, like, showing of the movie. The movie is like getting to the point where it's so ridiculous people can't ignore it. And if they are ignoring it, then they really are not interested in Ascension, or they're a non-player character.
And that goes back to the choices.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eurovision Song Contest is a family night in, where all the children stay up late and everybody gets excited, and you all decide which song you like, and everybody votes together. And it's a tradition. And it's been seeping into this to the point where it's like, this is totally ridiculous. I'm going to take my family and do something more wholesome. So,
Yep. We're choosing our timelines right now.
Yep.
So we have to be aware that our choices make a difference for our future. Our now choice makes a difference for our future. And it's going to make it a little harder to bounce back from it if we are just falling into the muddy stuff all the time. So,
Or just going along with what everybody else is doing, like Abby said.
mhm,
Right now it's a big pathway in our choices and understanding that we have choices in humanity that had been really taken away as we thought had been taken away early on, and repatterned in that we don't have those choices out of control perspectives. So now it's like, oh wait, I have a choice. That can be the overwhelm aspect too that's coming in right now as well. It's really intense because we have so many choices. That's really to go back into self to see like, hey, well, what choice do I need to make or feels best that can get me onto my further ascension pathway or higher in frequency or just even into joy?
mhm,
Small, tiny action steps
yep. And it's
and
all
choices.
about where we put our attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if we ignore that lady completely, then we're putting our attention elsewhere
Mm-hmm.
and creating a different timeline.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which that's, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are doing that now. They're just like, oh, well, I'm just not going to watch any of that. I'm just going to do what brings me joy. And I know that's going to create more of the joy and more of the, positive going forward with what we're creating.
So
And
it's a dismantling of the fear of missing out paradigm.
oh, yeah.
That's what needs to be
Oh,
done. But
oh,
because the fear of missing out on what? You're missing out on joy. You're missing out on peace. You're missing out on discovering, I mean, your inner world. That's what it's all about, the inner
mm-hmm.
castle, the aspects of you, the mysteries of life. And who cares about some skinny thing running around with paint and sausage fingers, doing voodoo doll and painting runes all over her face? Let them have it. That's
Yeah.
Go for it. Also know too that those distractions are there for a reason. They're there to distract you from going inwards and creating a space where you want. So watch for those too, because the distractions can be really high right now with that overwhelm because there's so many different choices. So if you don't like it, that's your clear no, different choice. As soon as you make that choice pathway, that shifts to a lower parallel and
That's it.
completely out of your reality, actually.
Yeah. Yep. It just shifts
It's
out of
it's
your reality.
it's so interesting because I was talking to my brother the other day and telling him about what was going on in Texas, what was going on with the truckers, and he is a mainstream guy and he hadn't heard any of this. And he's like, "Why have I not heard about this?" I said, "Well, there you go." But then, but when you go deeper into the alternative news, or I don't know what you want to call it goes back into that thick, heavy distraction, fear-based stuff again. And so it's like, okay, pull yourself totally out of all of it. Dip in and out if you need to, again, take the temperature of what's going on in the world and then get on with your day.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And they actually have put it on the mainstream media here, but the mainstream is croaking right now. Like they don't have viewers anymore. So people are saying, I'm done with that stuff. A lot of newspapers are in the middle of dying. People are getting laid off. So we are voting with our attention.
yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And for people to realize that the power of their attention is huge, just like the power of words. When you're putting your attention into something, you're giving it life.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of Peter Pan and Tinkerbell when Tinkerbell was dying and she needed people to believe in her. Or even in Elf, my favorite movie, when Santa's sleigh is going to crash and everyone has to believe in Santa to get it to come back up again. When you are believing in something horrible, you're giving it energy. When you're believing in something beautiful, you're giving it your energy. And again, we're back to choices.
Yep. I think we're
Apples.
barely learning how powerful we actually are.
Yeah, and I think we need to have more conversations like this to remind people, because it's not enough for me or Honey or Z to give our attention to the beautiful. We need everybody to start doing it, you to start doing it. So as a viewer of the video, if you're still here watching this, which I'm hoping that you are, to just, to think about more discernment around what you're spending your time with. Are you going here because you feel you need to, or like a child? Are you going here because you're expected to, or can you say, no, I'm not doing that?
Yeah.
Get your big no out. You know, say, okay, like a child, say, well, what gives me joy? What gives me pleasure? Turn off the television, put on some music, read a book, the
Mhm.
old-fashioned way.
Mhm.
Think of it as scrolling.
Mindless.
If you don't like it, you scroll past.
Mhm. Mhm.
You just say, no,
Agreed.
I don't like that.
Yep.
And you pay attention to what you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's like that with any energies that you're feeling as well. If there's an energy that comes in that you don't like, it's just a no. Now you are the creator of your own universe, and it all goes back to you as a singularity point. So if you say no to an energy that's not good for you, it listens because you're the director. So just know that you're the director in all this. You have your choices. It's just the ability to also allow those choices to be, and that it's okay to have needs and to have a passion and to go for what you want right now.
Mhm.
Really just go for it.
Yeah. We are the creator of our own life. So we really have to honor that. And we're starting to give a lot of respect to, each other. I've noticed like respect is definitely happening more often between people, and make sure that you're respecting yourself and your own needs.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that people, because this is something I've been working with for years and years, the consequences of the choices that you make. I don't think people really realize what they're choosing all the time. Every
Mhm.
single thing is a choice. Will I wear pink? What will I have for breakfast? Everything, and that sets your whole day up. If choosing to have an easy morning or choosing to rush from one thing to the next thing to the next thing without taking a moment to catch your breath, to maybe spend some time looking at what you're choosing so that because we go on autopilot and we're making choices because those were the choices we always made, or those are the choices that our parents made, and we don't even know why we're making those choices. Here's the time for you to sit with that and go, okay, what choices am I actually making? I don't know. And let the aspects of you come and show you. And you go, oh, I don't really like that choice. It's like changing your coffee. I went to the cafe, local cafe, to get a coffee recently, and he starts to put on my usual coffee, and I'm like, no, I don't want that, I want this. And he's like, how can you change your coffee? Because I can.
Yeah. Yeah, constantly looking at what we're doing is really a great thing. And
Mhm.
thinking about whether it's good for us or not, too. Like,
Mhm.
does this truly fill me up? Does it make me happy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really watching your thought forms, because every single thought form that you have is a choice.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yes,
There was a little
absolutely.
story like if you come out of the bed and you stub your toe, you have a choice right then. Do you let it ruin your day, or do you say, okay, I'm going to take a breath, and that is the end of that kind of energy, and I'm going to go forward and be happy today?
Yeah, or maybe it's just showing you to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
This was fun, you guys.
it was
Yeah.
great.
Beautiful. So we are going to be keeping in touch with you guys because we're going to be doing some more things. So just be aware that some offerings will be coming, and we really want to do something in person with
Mhm.
everybody. So that's going to be something we talk about soon. So
Yay.
very excited. Yeah.
Mhm.
Gonna
But
be
in the meantime,
beautiful.
you can come to our online at the end of February.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And go visit the website, which we'll have
Mhm.
below.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yay.
think the reason why we're calling it a healing offering is because we want to be in the energy of the day that
Mhm.
we're in, because things are changing and moving so quickly. So it's like a healing offering with Honey, Abby, and Z. Kind of sounds weird because normally it's like a specific, this is what we're going to do and this is where we're going to be. But ultimately, the theme behind any healing that we do is to help everybody shift those paradigms,
Mhm.
release the stuckness, everything that we've been talking about here in the video, and to feel lighter in their energies and more aware of their choices, to be able to radiate those frequencies to help everybody else shift as well. So that's really the our assignment when we get together as the three of us to do that. So yeah, I hope to see you at the healing.
Yeah, please come. It's
We
really
do.
for your own empowerment, stepping up into yourself. So we're excited about it.
We are, and we're excited to see you guys. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you guys.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.